I was quite surprised when I was a young public interest lawyer how easy it was to get people who had held very high positions in the government to answer my phone calls and ultimately to join in our project as members of our board of trustees. And I realized that there is this period of anxiety and isolation after people leave a position like Secretary of Labor or Attorney General, when they no longer have cars and drivers driving them around downtown Washington. They have to take cabs like everybody else. And their phones don't ring so much.
Yeah.
And I found, I called that the ex-great man syndrome. And it affected my own ambition to occupy those high positions, because I realized that you occupy those high positions and then you don't anymore. Yep. And you are, and your phone stops ringing. And what it made me think about is, how do I find satisfactions that aren't dependent on the position I hold or the important people who are looking to me for advice, but something in myself that gives me those satisfactions, because that's going to be more durable, and I'm not going to find myself someday being the ex-great man waiting for the phone to ring.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most, maybe the most important lessons somebody could know, somebody can learn. It's also called things such as when you can self-reliance, internal self-reliance. I don't think Bill Clinton's ever learned it. I doubt that he ever will learn it. It's being inner-directed as opposed to being outer-directed or other-directed, as they say. Very vital for a happy life, I think. Now, the people who started the Center for Law and Social Policy, all very accomplished people, all became in their own fields very eminent people, and all, including yourself, left CLASP, it was called CLASP by the acronym, within what, 5 or 6 years? Mm-hmm. Why do you think that happened?
I think the main reason is that the initial group had developed skills and a track record, a record of accomplishment that made them very attractive to other people who wanted to set up similar organizations. So, for example, Jim Moorman, one of our founding lawyers who had been the lead counsel in these environmental cases, was snapped up by the Sierra Club, which wanted to start its own internal law firm, which they called at first the Sierra Club Legal Defense Fund, now renamed and spun off as Earth Justice. Jeff Cowan went out to California, where he began a public interest law career there, working in Los Angeles with a public interest law firm, ultimately became dean of the Annenberg School at USC. So there were opportunities. Vic Kramer, one of our earliest lawyers, went off to start a group called the Institute for Public Representation, a public interest law firm at Georgetown Law School. So there were opportunities to take on these other positions. I left to become head of a new organization called the Council for Public Interest Law. So each of us, I think, were drawn away by other things. Yeah. And fortunately, the Center for Law and Social Policy has been able to renew itself, bringing in very talented people to exercise leadership, and it's now entering its 40th year of activities.
Yeah.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.